Okay, again. Vielleicht klappt's jetzt.
There we go.
Yes,
Now,
finally. We made it almost. Let me see. The
grab my
picture
hat.
off.
All right, there we go.
Okay, that worked. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Perfect, nice to hear. So we made it finally to the stream. The,
Yeah.
the
Thank you
big
for
flood,
having me.
I don't know if you remember the big flood in Valencia that cut off the grid and internet connection and everything. So that's why it didn't work last time.
Oh man. Well,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
that was the reason, actually. Yeah, welcome. Very cool to have you here. So, the godfather of our soil, let's say that, isn't it? Let us know what are you actually doing, because people who are the viewers now are from Germany mostly, maybe Austria, maybe Switzerland, so the German-speaking part, and they may know your fabulous books, etc. Yeah, for sure. But I think most of them they have no idea who you are. Maybe.
Okay, I can explain.
Tell me, what are you doing, and who are you actually?
Well, what I'm doing is I'm helping people understand the cycles at work in nature around them and the cycles at work that created soil initially.
All
And
right.
so, you know, there was soil before us, right? You know what I mean? Otherwise, all the stories of creation stories throughout all the different, they said we were made from soil, right? Right. So soil came first. So it had to have arrived here somehow. And there, and the earth, nature's always adapting. Nature's always changing. So soil's being made right now. You
Constant.
know, there's mineral there's rocks moving against each other and crushing each other and creating fine mineral, silts and sands. You have, the degradation, the breakdown of minerals, the weathering of minerals turning into soils. You have also the corrosion, the chemical, degradation, breakdown, disintegration, and particleization of minerals. And then you have, you know, volcanoes, meteors, other events that are going to create new soils through the release of energy. And so these things came about very certain ways. And what I've just described was all the mineral stuff.
Yeah.
And there's no humus in that description at all. There's no life in that description.
Right.
And that's mostly what people get. They get that story from the ag world,
Yeah.
from their universe. And it's not an untrue story, but it's a piece of a whole, like in holistic management, holons. So it's a larger, it's part of a larger picture.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
so what I really do is I help people understand the cycles of nature in relationship to the actions they take so
Yeah.
that they can live and choose to live more regeneratively.
That's good.
And I believe in people, and when people have the right information and the right lenses to make good decisions,
Absolutely. Yeah.
they make good decisions because it benefits them in such a way that it benefits their environment and their community. And at the end of the day, we are all tied to our local communities. And so I'm really just helping people have a regenerative common sense. And it's really critical thinking
Yeah.
in relationship to the cycles and natural principles. And so I started with permaculture. My story is I was a professional musician, and my wife got cancer, and I became health conscious because of that. And we tried the Gerson therapy,
Yeah.
and the juicing was killing my budget because you have to get organic stuff to juice.
Sure.
And then when you go to the actual farm and see how bad their soil is, you start asking questions about what you're doing with your money. You're like, I can grow better food than this. I have to be able to grow better food than this. And so I just started trying to grow my own food. And then I became a teacher to get healthcare
Okay.
because I was a musician. I didn't have healthcare. You know, my wife keeps getting cancer. So what am I going to do? Have to, you know. And we had two young children. I have two boys now. They're 15 and 19. This is an old story. You know, this is something that happened a long time ago. But my wife had cancer over 7 times, and she hasn't had cancer in 10 years. So we went through this process of growing our own food, finding the local foods that are good, finding which foods are the right foods for our bodies.
Yeah.
And it was what I could control. You know, I could control the soil, the food, and then just using that discretion, because I have the experience with soil and food, to buy from the right farmers. And so I became a school teacher, and my mom was a teacher. My mom created the middle age. So, all right. So middle school is before high school. You guys have secondary school probably, right? It's the one before secondary school, or
Yeah.
you might have your elementary combined with the middle school, and we separated it out in America. But
Yeah.
either way, these are, oh man, what was I going to say? I started writing curriculum. I was a teacher, and oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. My mom created this special ed curriculum that was adopted into law and then became the standard across all of the U.S. Because in the 1970s, they believed that people with special, like people who are retarded or have other disabilities,
Yes.
couldn't learn. They believed they couldn't learn. So my mom showed that they could learn,
So they had no.
and yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so they adopted into law, and later on they tried to teach her back to her when she got her master's degree.
Okay.
They were teaching herself to her.
Cool.
And
Cool.
so I you know, writing curriculum that's disruptive, writing curriculum that changes the whole space of education. My mom did that. So
Okay.
for me, I got into it and started writing curriculum because there was no books at the school I taught at.
Okay.
And then I decided I wanted to write permaculture curriculum because it didn't exist for K through 12. And so I wrote this book, Permaculture Student 1, and it made $26,000 in 30 days. And I realized that, like, I should do this.
Like, yeah.
And, you know, that was 24 books ago in 10 years. And so I keep pumping out the curriculum because I'm a teacher. You know, I do online courses. I've got books that accompany them. I teach, you know, farmers. I teach cannabis growers, mycologists. Um, uh, there's professors from many universities, Stanford, Harvard, MIT, that are in these courses, and I know they're poaching. so,
Imagine.
but you know, I love it. It's really weird. I mean, I was a musician, then I was a school teacher for children, you know, high school, sophomores, so 15, 16-year-olds.
Okay.
And then I realized writing at their reading level was the reading level for common language.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 10th graders are that, like, it's like just above like the New York Times like level of reading. I'm not a fan of the New York Times, but I'm just saying that's always been the standard. And so I realized I was able to write in a way that, like, everyone understood because my students could understand it. And yeah, and so I just feel very, very blessed to be here. I've done some fun things. You know, I've done some plant breeding things that were considered impossible.
Okay.
I've helped farmers double their yields. I've helped people who are much smarter than me,
Yeah.
you know, much more experienced than
Yeah.
me, understand what they're doing in a new way. And that's kind of my ability. Is I have a master's degree in developmental psychology and educational psychology.
Okay.
So I think about how you're thinking.
Perspective that is different. Your perspective is maybe different on the same topic.
Yeah. And so I tend to, like, help. I'm a catalyst. And so I tend to help other people with their thinking. And I'm also about empowerment. And so it's like, I want you to understand it so that you make the choice.
Right.
I can present a menu, but
Independent.
your discernment on the ground
Yeah.
is going to be superior, because you're like, well, I have that and it's free, and I have that and I have to pay for that, but they're going to do the same job. You're the one on the ground making the decisions.
Right.
You know, if it's for a client and they want it yesterday, you might have to pay for it. But
Yeah.
if it's you doing it at home DIY, you might do it that way.
Yeah. Correct.
And yeah, and so I really want people to own that, you know. And so I take them through a 20-week course. I teach, you know, microscopy. I partner with a ton of different people who are doing amazing things and highlight their work. And I focus really on community building as well as fluency in this space.
By the way, very nice book, the microscopy thing. Really, I'm not through it yet, but really, really interesting. So, and I know what you're talking about. When I started reading any book, also the others that I know, it's really accessible. You make it accessible. You're really a good teacher in this sense, yeah, because people grasp it and people understand. And most of people that I know who read those books, they just swallowed it. They got it in and they understood. Okay, no questions asked actually. So that moved their own minds to look further, to see for themselves and to try it in their soil, on their land or whatever. I mean, we are in my business. We are doing more the indoor stuff because this is where you come also with the cannabis thing. Yeah, since in Germany they legalized, let's call it legalized. Since it's been a year, last April, I think. I'm completely wrong, yeah. So that's what people do now legally, and that's what I'm in. I'm more in the indoor living soil project thing.
Yeah.
For my customers and stuff like that. But you can really take from inside to the outside and vice versa, yeah? So you can practice the same stuff outdoor and you can do it indoors. So it makes it is different, sure, because you don't have you construct an artificial environment around your living soil bed, let's say.
It's even more important because you're constructing environments.
Correct.
Like
All
it's yeah.
Yeah.
And so the what I wrote the book from the perspective of nature, and I tried to be the picture frame and not influence it. I tried to keep myself out of it because it speaks so loudly that farmers are like, this is how it's done.
Yeah.
Cannabis growers indoors are like, this is how it's done. And I'm like, for me, I didn't write it specifically to any of them. I just wrote it so that everyone could understand better.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing to see that reaction.
That's true. And then, I mean, the whole environmental factor that plays a big role. I think in the United States, even more than in Europe, regarding pesticides and the regulations and everything, because we are a little bit, call it better, okay? With the whole thing with pesticides, insecticides, and poison in general on plants. We're not perfect. We're far away from that in Europe, but I think we have a different. We do it differently, okay? We do less. Okay, we don't allow all the pesticides, for example, that are allowed in the United States.
Atrazine.
Yeah, you can't spray just as much as you want, this and that, and we have different rules for that. But we're still not perfect. But it is a big fight in the end because if you want to regenerate soil, you need the whole concept. You need the land, you need the animals, the input, etc. Yeah, because without the whole, let's call it animals, cattle, whatever it is, they play a big role in this.
Okay? Yeah, you totally do need all of the components, but correct. We also can be disruptive without changing their methods. So they're like, oh, you want herbicide? Let's do a bio herbicide that improves the soil. This is already real. Exactly. Firehawk. And the technology isn't crazy. Just think about this. They're spraying it and it's removing the waxy layer on the leaves, and so it dries the leaf out and it dies.
Correct.
It's beneficial to the soil. It's non-toxic.
Yeah.
So I bet you there's people watching this right now that goes, oh, I bet this could do that. I bet that could do that. And right, they know. And that's the thing is, it's like once these ideas come out, everyone is going to change because it's saving money.
Yeah.
It's saving water, saving soil. It's saving like the nutrients. Because I mean, everything, all the poisons desiccate the organic matter.
Yeah.
And people talk about how they need NPK, but phosphates are going to be usually in the non-soluble forms, the mineral forms of the soil at a huge amount. And then the nitrate and the nitrogen and then ammonium, like that's all in the organic matter, because we always characterize organic matter as carbon to nitrogen ratio. So the more organic matter you have, the more, and it's also the microbes. The microbes themselves are gathering the nitrogen, but they're also embodying the nitrogen, and that's why they can deliver it into the plant through rhizophagie. So once people realize they don't have to pay any longer
Constantly.
huge prices, they don't have to poison the landscape or themselves, because it's like, I had a farmer who's like, oh, we selectively use glyphosate. There's a non-detect on our food at the end. It's non-detect. I'm like, that's impressive, but are you, and then I turn to his wife. I go, are you testing his urine?
Yeah.
Because his health is your job.
Or you want to do it selectively? It's
Well, that's the whole thing. Is it's like we literally could be using things that are, I mean, pesticides, insecticides. That's easy. IPMO, Chris Trump, Stephen Reisner, they've proven it in the field. You take the thing that is the pests, you mix it in with IMO, you grow it out, and you collect that, and that will eat whatever you put in. And so it's like the fungal blight, it'll eat that. The insect pressure, it'll eat that too.
Yeah.
So we're training the fungi. And right now in America, Dr. Don Huber has trained Lactobacillus plantarum, which is in EM1, which is in labs, which, is in water kefir. And all over our skin.
Yeah.
And so that actually destroys glyphosate and its breakdown residues. So and it's in sauerkraut juice too. I know where you guys are. Yeah. So you can give glyphosate to Lactobacillus plantarum in larger and larger and larger amounts over time, and train it to be unbelievable. And this is what they did with Paleo Power, Dr. Don Huber with GLS. So we have the ability to remove the toxins and the pests. We have the ability to remove the fungal blights. What they've done is create a whole system where they are literally cycling pathogens. Did you know that the Fusarium that everyone's worried about is an endophyte?
Yeah.
So in other words, it's going to pretend to be, it will be beneficial while there's good sun and good photosynthesis.
Yes.
But it's going to spread throughout the whole plant. So the moment the plant stops giving the sugars, it turns into a pathogen and kills the plant. And then it's a saprophyte. So it eats the dead plant and then releases spores, and they wait for next season.
Yeah.
When they take the corn, they spray glyphosate and Roundup on it to desiccate it in America, what they're doing is arresting the process so that it can't expose the fact that it has these endophytes, these pathogens in it. So now they take the corn and the soybeans, they feed it to the pigs and the cows get sick because there's aspergillus, there's fusarium, and we know because they're culturing the actual manure, they're culturing the dead animals, they're looking at the actual pathogens, and we can remove this all. So the work that you're doing is so incredibly important. I know it feels like it's early days. I know that you guys are indoors, but you guys are going to model for everyone in your country. In America, it was the cannabis industry that was their good example, their regenerative example, and research and development, right? Their R&D that opened the door for everyone else.
I remember, meanwhile, it's more than 25 years ago, when I was part of the first Bioland, the company's name, first bioland farms that opened up in Germany, and I was part of it with helping them for the farmers to start to maintain the land for several years without benefit from it. So they sponsored them, kind of. They didn't sponsor them. They set up, if you want to take part and if you want to be one of the farmers who sell to bioland, they set up a store at your place because you have no work. Your land is just waiting for years until it's good again, okay? So they set up a store at your place with bio cheese, with ecological stuff, all the veggies and milk and everything that came from other farmers who already produced to support this guy for several years and doing the necessary things with the land until it's good, okay, to start really a certified ecological farming. So that was, I did it for several years, so I was part of this whole process, going from farmer to farmer, setting up the stores, helping with the necessary stuff, maintaining the land and this and that. So that was already 25 years ago. And if I remember, this time was, it was really rare. That was not so popular. There were people who wanted ecological stuff and organic stuff and this and that, but it wasn't like the mainstream was still the conventional. Yeah, there was not a big fuss about the organic. Now, if you see Germany, it's a completely different story. You see it everywhere. It's in every shop. Okay, there are all shops. They have something certified ecological, organic stuff. We call it bio. So it changed in 20 years so much. Okay, and sure, if it gets more and people see, okay, this is the choice that I have, 50-50. Yeah, it's not like you have to look for the organic stuff. No, it's just there. It's just reaching the hand over there in the supermarket. Yeah, and automatically with this comes a kind of stigma, let's call it, that the organic is not really organic because it's also sprayed and this and that. And this is the point where people don't understand. Okay, sure, you can spray a lot of things. It's not glyphosate that you're allowed to spray on organic stuff, okay? Because glyphosate, like you said, it's an antibiotic also, okay? So it kills microbes in the end. So you can spray this.
It actually selects for pathogens.
Yeah.
So it doesn't kill Aspergillus. It doesn't kill Fusarium. It doesn't kill Alternarium.
Sure.
It actually increases the numbers of Fusarium.
Yeah. But it's because you have no balance anymore. The natural balance is gone. So opportunistic microbes or fungi or whatever, they will take their place if there is place for them and food. So this is natural thing, 100%. Yeah. So, but you're not allowed to use those chemicals here. But people still who buy conventional, they will say, I'm not going to spend my money on this because I don't trust it. And it's not worth it because they spray anyway. Okay, that's what I want to say. So, and there comes this whole thing. If you understand, you understand. It's a different story then. Yeah, it's not the same if you just okay, it's a little bit more expensive just because it's organic and this and that. So I don't trust it either. So so there is no information, and then the mainstream carries they don't do that. There is no big support. Okay, the people in Germany, for example, they are educated by themselves about the clean and organic stuff. And exactly this is what I wanna ask you, because I saw this this device. It's the Sensine, no? Sensine, yeah. So what I do when I see this, I have my soil EC reader, I have my refractometer, I have my microbiome. It's still here, always there. And this is how I make the picture complete, or try to. But when I saw this is really unbelievable, to be honest. It will change a lot, huh?
And the crazy thing about, I think, Sensine is it's like, okay, this is for leaves, but they're working on having this go directly on the fruit.
Yeah.
They're also working on on putting a big stirring bowl below it and have it stir it and take multiple tests on soil, grain, feed, flour, so that you cannabis calibrations right now.
So they are working on it to
Yeah.
develop. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. Is it
Yes.
working?
What?
As a SAP analysis, is it working like that already? Did you try
Yeah.
it? Can you confirm?
Calibrated. It's calibrated for 6 or 9 plants right now.
Okay.
So this works on tomatoes, wheat,
Okay.
corn, rapeseed, soy. I think soybean. Musk melons, not watermelons. I had watermelons, so I couldn't use it. And I can't remember the rest, but
Cannabis.
strawberry. So the thing about this, and the why I pulled it up when you're asking these questions, is being able to say this one is better because it's more nutrients, because it's more food in your food.
Yeah.
It's like this the simple concept of there's more food in your food.
So
Like, oh, and that's why it's better. That's why I feel better. Like
yeah.
that a
Yeah.
child can understand. Someone in a with no education in a third world country, would you show them quality of 2 different meats and they taste it and say, well, there's more food in that food. They'd be like, oh, it's so good. And what it is it's just there's been more days with less stress, so the plants are able to incorporate more efficiently with the thing is the plant is either spending its energy from photosynthesis on getting itself to a Goldilocks range where it feels like it can actually access the nutrients in the forms they want, or they're already there. And if
Yeah.
they're already there, this is why we want to help them. If they're already there, then they can spend that energy just on reproduction and growth and immune system and their immune system.
Yeah.
And end result is it tastes better, smells better, is more nutrient dense, is more nutritious and more medicinal.
Yeah.
And when people have that as a metric that they can see, like for instance, they're making meat calibration right now in America,
Okay.
and have it be able to test it and then tell you the omega ratio. So
Wow.
omega 6 to 3. And the reason they're doing that is because they're going to realize regenerative beef is as healthy as Pacific salmon. So like they're going to realize it's everyone talks about healthy heart, eat
Yeah.
fish. You're going to be eating beef that's regenerative and
Real.
get
The,
benefits. What?
the real stuff. The real beef. Yeah.
With
That's
yeah.
that's where bricks comes into play, no? Because you said about a healthy plant and more nutrients in the plant. It's all about bricks in the end, isn't it?
Well, remember bricks is a 150-year-old technology, right? It's
Sure.
measuring, salt. And so remember Harriet Mella and her work, right? So Harriet's work, I believe she might be in Germany. Um,
Uh,
but or somewhere in Northern Europe. I don't remember. But Harriet Mella, her work, she talks about fructane and fructose, and how there's a lot of fruit that looks great, but people are having allergic reactions to it
yeah.
because the form of sugar is fructane.
Yeah.
And so the forms of sugar, it's sugar, high in sugar, but if it's high in fructane, you're going to cause allergic reactions in a lot of people.
Yeah.
And,
Good.
and so and so there's a little bit of nuance to this, and that's what's so cool about this, because it has bricks, it has redox, and it has EH.
Yeah.
Uh, right? And so you get this whole picture. And what I want to do is let it play out, because what's going to happen is you're going to see bricks is totally accurate for this, that, and there, but then in other spots it's not.
Right.
And how it's inaccurate, we'll finally be able to see. And so I'm really excited. And the thing is, Centimeter is great. I'm really excited about it. But the nutrition side is John Kemp. So
That's
John Kemp is going to be releasing a meter that has all the nutrients. So we're suddenly going to be able to have doctors, nutritionists, health experts and practitioners be able to be like, no. You need to go to the store and make sure you don't eat anything below this level of nutrient density. And if you're juicing, make sure you're buying these above this level of nutrition.
This is the missing link.
Yeah.
Let's call
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
We are guessing now a lot, no? You go from your nutritionist to the shop and more or less this could be healthy. This banana is not really a healthy fruit, but let's say the salad looks good, but you still don't know how much stuff is in the salad, and it looks good, yeah.
Right, but the E. coli infected spinach looked good.
Yeah, yeah.
This is I
Perfect.
always drive home to people. People
Yeah.
are like, it was toxic spinach. And I'm like, what do you think it looked like? Because they're like, well, how did they serve it in the first place? It looked fine because pathogenic E. coli is an endophyte. It's beneficial to the plant and harmful to us.
Correct.
And so there's this disconnection that if it's good for the plant, it's always good for us. And that's it's not the case at all. So you can have plants with higher aluminum levels. The plant is using the aluminum as self-defense from predation, except now we're eating it because we don't have any discernment. If we were there in the field alongside any other animal and we ate from the one that didn't have aluminum in it, and then we ate the one with aluminum and we go, bah, bah.
Yeah, yeah.
We would eat that one.
Yeah. You wouldn't touch it. If you have,
we would send it immediately, but because it's packaged in a processed food thing with all these like MSG and all these different things to fool our bodies, we're eating stuff we would never eat if we were growing it ourselves and had that relationship with it. Yeah. We would go, oh, this is wrong. We're not going to eat this. We're going to compost this.
There comes a question. What is your opinion on bricks in a plant and the natural protection from pests?
So this is
the less pests.
The plant health pyramid, right? It's in my book. It's John Kemp's picture, but yeah. John based it off of this book. But in part, it's this book, and the thing is, when I say this book, it's like every section has endnotes that are just so thick. So this is page 41, right? We're not even, but look, here the references begin just for this chapter. Okay. And I'm just gonna, it was one, that's half, 1, 2. So it's basically over 3 pages of references for one chapter. So cool. It looks like it's a little book, but it's actually a big book if you follow all the leads in it. And so he sent me this when I was like, I love the plant, the plant health pyramid. Can I use it in my book? He's like, you need to read this. And then he gave me permission because everything John tells me to read, I read.
Okay.
And so John's kind of like an older brother. Though I don't know if I'm if he's older than me. Actually, I'm pretty sure he might be younger than me. But our relationship, he's got that Amish way about him.
So how old are you actually?
I am 43.
Okay.
I have a 19-year-old and a 15-year-old, so that doesn't really happen unless you know.
You're very young, definitely.
Well. I mean, the health has been something that we focused on so intensely. And I've also not had a boss in 10 years. I work for myself. I get to stop when I want to and start when I want to with things. I also spend a lot of my time meditating, doing breath work.
Doing stuff for you.
Ice bath, sauna. So yeah, there's some stuff going on there, but yeah, no, my brothers, they're normally aging, but I seem to have had some luck with that.
All right. So regarding our health and the food we eat, the milk we drink, and the meat we eat and stuff. What is your opinion? You for sure you heard about it. Bovaer. It's the additive that they add to feed for cows, so they fart less, so we have less methane. So
First of all, the premise that you're feeding cows feed is broken, right? That
no,
is
and
broken to begin with.
there's an additive that works
And-
somehow.
But
Anyway,
cows should be eating grass,
should
right? They shouldn't have feed.
first of all, yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. But
Right.
we're talking about the biggest hypocrisy. Um, Conventional cows, yeah,
Hmm.
eating some feed, some soy, some whatever they feed them, yeah, so they can open their stomach and take the shit out when it's blocked. You know this
Yep.
thing. So, but now they have this additive that is called Bovaer or Bovaer or whatever it's called, and this stops somehow the production of it. It's not stopping it; it just reduces it to 30%. The production of the methane in the cow's fart or whatever they were. So it comes out. It turns out it's killing the animals. First of all, and the second, it goes into the milk, it goes into the meat and everything. Did you?
I think
It's
it's
not,
by design. I think the way it's working is working exactly the way they designed it. I, let me put my conspiracy hat on. Here's my conspiracy theory hat. It's on now. Okay. So the thing is, it makes people a lot of money if the majority of people are too sick to do anything about corruption.
also,
You know what I mean? It's like they're lifelong customers as
they have
well.
problems.
Of,
They have problems. No, they.
right. They keep solving problems they created.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we have these monopolies that own. I mean, we're all still under the thumb of the industries that came out of World War II.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
of us.
That's what
You
it is. Yeah.
Bayer was there. Hubbard, you know what I mean?
We
Yeah,
live with this
all
whole
of
story continuing.
us are actually living in a system that's designed to keep and protect itself aloof
Yeah.
of the people and
Yeah.
our influence. And
That,
so, and on some level, it's a natural reaction. Humans are protectionist, right? Humans want to keep territory once they get it. They
yeah.
want power. This is human, unfortunately, but it's we're in a situation now where they just approved 2 new PFAS, or 3 new PFAS applications on food, the EPA, right before they said, like, we're going to adopt all these MAHA things, but first let's add more poison.
It's
I think it's all lies. And
it,
so the thing is, it's like even the 700 million or whatever going to, regenerative ag, I don't know if it's actually going to go to regenerative ag. It might go to something with a label that says regenerative ag, and underneath it's like
yeah.
Bayer, Monsanto, or whoever. And so I don't know if this is just a cash grab for their cronies in disguise, and the reason they're doing it is they're now ready to fleece it. So I really hope I'm wrong, and I hope that good things are going to come out of it. But I've not seen that. Like we are where we are because we've given trust to people who are corrupted or corruptible, and it's backfired.
The
And
step.
so I'm a grassroots guy.
Yeah, the
I
step
am
is
from the people
obvious.
up. So the idea of Bovar is insane.
Yeah.
Like, look at Joel Salatin's cows.
They say it's just to reduce the carbon footprint, etc. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. So that's BS. So the reality is this: if you actually look at the numbers, it's like from our cars, even it's like 3 gigatons a year. It's 85 gigatons a year that fungi releases.
Yeah,
Yet
yeah,
yet we've killed the soil, and the
yeah, yeah.
soil for fungi. So that means logically we're missing way more fungi that
Yeah.
would have exhaled way more
Way more.
CO2.
Yeah. In addition,
So
yeah.
so we're being gaslit. We're totally being lied to about the actual functions. And them going to ice cores to tell you the CO2, that's laughable. You know why? because what happens with fungi, it's in the soil. It's growing out of the soil in decomposition. It's below the leaves.
Yeah.
It's below the canopy. And that CO2 never leaves. It never leaves the forest because it's a closed system.
Never.
And you're like, oh, wind. No, what happens is it gases off from below. Fungi exhales, just like all animals are exhaling down below. And the leaves are capturing it before it leaves the environment. So
a lot of it.
We actually need more CO2, and we need it more efficiently cycling. What does that mean? We need to bring back the forests. In America, they're chopping down trees that are as wide as this room, and then they're putting in cheek and jowl trees so they grow like little spindles. And then and so what do they get? Diseases. They get bark beetle, and then they burn, and they get, and so it's all degenerative, and it's all designed to try to make as much money as possible. Again, we have people being people, and so they tend to shortchange anyone else down the line. And so that's, again, a human quality. And, people say, like, is there a grand conspiracy and all this stuff? And it's like, just like in a positive community, no one is like in concert being like, are you going to do this? Well, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Oh. Good people are doing good things, and society is working.
And profit all of them.
The same thing works in opposite. Bad people work alongside other bad people, and they recognize each other, and they go, huh, right, I'm not telling on you, you're not telling on me. And it's not they don't even need to be like, let's put our medallions on and do our weird handshake, and then we all go to the, you know what I mean? You don't even need that.
Absolutely.
And I'm pretty sure do exist, to a degree, right? There are secret, communities, but they don't need to be in concert to act in concert.
Yeah.
And so I think that what we need to do, because attacking it from that space doesn't even work. You have to attack the symptoms and then work your way up to the actual causes one by one, especially in the system, because they are disaggregated.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
And so I really feel that the way to fix this problem is to remove the power structures that they have. And so I don't believe that bureaucrats should be able to tell. I'm an American. I'm a constitutionalist. I don't believe they have the right. I believe that we have a human right that supersedes that, with our relationship to the natural world and the natural cycle. That, just like our body autonomy, you know what I mean? I just don't think that, government can step in and take your children and those kinds of things, but they do.
It's
really, things that have happened, Ruby Ridge, things that have happened, where they're just gross abuses of power, but it's only gotten that way because they've been granted that power, and then we've allowed them to have that power. In California right now, you've got several bureaucrats that are over the same territory over the coastal areas. Right. So 90% of the kelp forests have died, but because you've got people who hate each other or disagree with each other over the same jurisdiction saying, no, that's my power, not your power, they guarantee that no one fixes the kelp forests. And so it's stuff like that, and it serves people who thrive in times of chaos and off of misery, and people who like war and those kinds of things, unfortunately. But the only way we can fix it is by focusing on doing the right thing, and helping each other get good medicine, helping each other get good food, and supporting those farmers, liberating them from a system of oppression.
Sure. Because it makes no sense, like you said before, on one side to say we have to lower the carbon footprint, whatever this and that, blah, blah, blah. On the other side, practicing the conventional farming, where there's no sequestration of carbon, nothing happens. Okay, you do the opposite, but on the other side, you want tax money because your company's footprint is not low enough. This is hypocrisy at its best. So
yeah.
The shit that people don't understand, and then they turn into, in my humble opinion, to the wrong environmental fighters, okay? Like, I give you an example, and I'm really, really excited about your opinion about that. What happens when you harvest peat? Okay. So when you harvest peat, I tell you the story first, and then you say your opinion. Okay. When you harvest peat, I have a lot of clients who say, "Oh, I'm not gonna work with peat because this is really deadly and this and that." So listen. I think it was in the 80s in Indonesia. They already, regarding the statistics from the last, I think, 50 years, on no, since we do the statistics on carbon on our planet, from not natural sources, okay, made by man. In the 80s, we had in Indonesia one of the highest, and I think in the 90s or 70s, I may be wrong, in the Netherlands, the second highest release of carbon made by man, because they turned peat fields into rice fields. Okay, that was in Indonesia, and the Dutch, they did their own thing, but that's on the statistics. That's the highest man-made release of carbon of CO2. Sorry, of CO2. Okay, we're talking about CO2 here, and this happened just because letting die the peat fields. Okay, the whole, it was huge territory. In Holland and Netherlands the same. Okay, so it already happened. The biggest shit already happened. What happens around the years and before and after that, it is so low on the statistic, it's ridiculous. When I have a company that offers me a substrate here from Germany, they own some peat fields which they do regeneratively. They try, because they don't harvest it at all, completely down, they flood them again after harvesting, okay, and leave it for several years. We know that peat immediately starts the sequestration. Immediately. It's not waiting for anything. It happens immediately, okay?
It's like
it's flooded and it's not drying out. Yeah, so that's how they do it. That's how they do it. So that's why they offer this so-called certified and controlled peat harvest, okay, for their substrates. So this is a big difference. If I see the other companies, the conventional substrates that they offer, which comes from Canada, from wherever, they just harvest. They cut it down, they let it dry, and they make their product out of it. They don't give a damn what happens. Yeah, those guys, yes, they do. Yeah, they try to maintain it alive. They don't kill the peat. So still, I have so much hate from people who say, "Oh, you promote this peat stuff." No, I promote just this one because I believe that how they do it is the right thing to do if we want peat. And regarding to what already happened, we did the biggest bullshit. It already happened. It can't be worse. And there are some people who understand, who see, yeah, how can we treat it to not being so invasive, to not destroy everything and this and that, because they want also to keep their business alive. They don't want to cut everything down and then dry and standing there without peat, yeah? So they do it this way. And I think that this is a good way. Even if it's not good to harvest peat, but still it is the best way possible. What is your opinion on that?
Well, if you think about what peat is, it's an area that collects water, and thus if it collects water, it collects runoff and nutrients and minerals over time. This is why ponds develop, because there's a slowing down of the movement of water over the land, and so it drops clay enough over time that suddenly that clay forms, a pond liner essentially. And so we want those areas of deposition to be sources to regenerate the land, actually. So if we zoom out, where does it mostly go? Well, actually it goes to the coastlines and the rivers and the ponds and streams. And so what does that look like? It looks like eutrophication. So we have the loss of nutrients from conventional farming, soil erosion, soil loss. And where does it end up? Well, eventually all of it ends up sometimes as a toxic algae bloom, dead zone at the interface between the fresh water and the salt water.
Yeah, yeah.
And so those areas though are the most nutrient rich. And in fact, if we did seaweed and shellfish, we literally could capture those nutrients and reduce the load, but then bring the excess nutrients through kelp, through those shellfish back to the land,
yeah,
and put them back to the soil. And in many ways, that's just good practice because that it literally the erosion is constantly happening. It's natural. So eutrophication is when there's too much, but it's always still happening. So if we can do it regeneratively, harvesting from peatlands and then have it regrow, I'm all for that. Terra preta is something that is in the Amazon and it regenerates. Yeah. So they take Terra preta down to 10 centimeters.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's feet deep. And then they take 10 centimeters and it regrows.
Yeah.
They feed it organic matter. So I'm fully willing to have nature show us, what it can do and not impose presuppositions on it and assumptions, because nature is always going to teach us and humble us,
Sometimes the hard way.
Yeah, and it's like the thing is, it's like who at the end of the day, zoom out on this whole climate thing and zoom out and ask two fundamental questions. From the way they want to go about fixing it, who benefits the most?
Yeah.
And it's billionaires and it's politicians.
Kind of.
Right. And then the other question is, what is climate change when you actually get down to what we're talking about? Well, it's desertification.
Yeah.
And desertification was solved decades ago.
Yeah.
And they've already proven it financially. You can restore pure desert from in 9 years.
Yeah.
$14 per hectare for 9 years. So I don't think they're motivated at all to fix it.
No.
And so I really believe it's on us. We have to take back our power and our food systems, our farming systems, our medicine. That's what cannabis is. Cannabis is actually the return of medicine, of what 45% of medication was cannabis based over 100 years ago. Pharmaceuticals, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, they funded this pharmaceutical attack on natural medicine. And in fact, most of the things that they sold that they said were synthesized were actually still the natural medicines. They just said it was synthesized. Cannabis reaction to that. Cannabis is us going back to endocannabinoid medicines.
Yeah.
And it's an entire branch of medicine that we all used. All of our ancestors used it.
Yeah.
And so we're just returning to what we knew to work, what was human, what was more natural, and what worked better. And that pharmaceutical, conglomerate is fighting back. And that's why they're trying to guarantee everyone gets sick with a guaranteed, poison shot. You know what I mean? Well, and so it's wild.
But still, I'm absolutely on your side, 100%. I already hear it from whatever you say. I know much more what you could say because I'm the same. Okay, I don't swallow anything from the pharmacy. Actually, I don't remember taking an aspirin or something. It's been maybe 30 years ago, and I was stupid and young. Okay, so that's the way that you choose to, because you are. You woken up a little bit, okay? You are conscious. You know what it does to your body, and you know what it does to the life in your cell, in every cell, okay? In your mitochondria, etc., etc. But if you don't even know what a mitochondrion is, what do you want to explain to people then? So they lacking information, and that's why I really admire what you do, because this is the part. Like I said, this is the part educating people in understanding the basic things. Actually, everybody knows how to treat a phone, to read some stuff, to see some stuff from the other end of the world, but they don't even know how their own body functions, how food functions in their body, etc., etc. Because nobody teaches it. In the school,
No,
what
wrong,
it's
but
ridiculous.
everyone knows something's wrong. They can feel it.
Yeah. But in access to information is gold. Absolutely, it is gold in my opinion. If you, I mean, you must be interested. You must be motivated when you hear something. Oh, this sounds really. This triggers me somehow. But if it doesn't trigger you, there is no help for you. That's my opinion. Okay, if you want to live your life like you do and you're happy with that, and you're even promoting knowingly, knowing that that the artificial stuff, that the sweeteners, that whatever is shit for your body, knowing this, still promoting it and laughing about it and saying, there are studies and this and that. Studies, to be honest, I don't give a damn about a lot of studies because of different reasons, okay? Because a lot of studies are just paid on one side. On the other side, I don't need a study to know if an artificial sweetener is doing any harm to my body. I don't want to study. I know that it's not natural. Nature didn't invent it, okay? So I don't need that stuff in my body. Why should I? There is no discussion for me, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's simple for me, and maybe for you. But for a lot of people, they are completely kind of, I don't want to sound rude, but brainwashed, okay, by the whole system, like you said, and they follow the way. So you
I
can't,
think they're scared. A lot of people are just scared of looking in the mirror and saying, like, I was completely wrong.
or maybe they are more scared about their own responsibility, and it's better to give the responsibility to others about my life, my health, my religion, whatever, isn't it? Is
The
this
thing, you're either living out your dream or you're living out someone else's dream. And most of these politicians' dreams are nightmares for us.
good? So well said. Yeah, yeah. That's what it is, and actually, this is the biggest motivation for me doing the job that I do. Okay, because it's kind of similar to you. Your audience is much bigger. You are more intense in what you do and this and that. But I do it at least, and I do it very individually because I have contact to my customers and this and that. I consult them and stuff like that. So I have a lot of people who, after several months starting the first time with the living soil with cannabis, they call me, listen, I'm doing this whole organic certified cannabis stuff and I still ate at McDonald's and shit like that. I had to change it. It made no sense for me to smoke the damn organic stuff, tasting very awesome and clean and whatever. Because I had people also sending it to the lab and this and that. It's absolutely clean everything. And eating at McDonald's or buying this whole conventional bullshit, really, I have this has an impact on people, what I did, and I really love it. I just love it. The biggest motivation for me to do what I do, because the money isn't, okay? Because I'm not gonna get rich of it, never. It's impossible. That's not, we are a small company. We are a 7 people company, okay? We're not a big thing. And this is really kind of a family enterprise, yeah, let's call it like that. And there is not much money in this, even if people sometimes think it's a different story. My motivation is really seeing the change in people, how they change, how they realize what's going on, so they carry this idea even further and applying it on their nutrition, on their lifestyle, whatever. I wake them up somehow with this living soul thing, okay? Because they're convinced. In the end, they are really just convinced. I don't have to talk much. I just tell them what you have to do, how you have to mix, how to water, what to test, blah blah blah. But the rest comes by itself, and I think it's the same approach that you have. And this is really, really, really cool. I have to admit. I,
Well, it's like we trust that nature will do the work for us to convert people because it's for itself. It
Yeah,
works every time,
correct.
and it's in alignment with cycles.
Yeah,
And like we don't want to almost like step in and like supersede the relationship with our actual students in nature. Like
yeah,
so many people want to be the expert, the guru,
yeah,
and it's like no, it's not about that. It's about you developing fluency and feedback loops with the soil, with your plants, with your body,
correct.
with with these tools so that you can better understand what you need to do for your system, your soil, your goals to get what you're looking for. Because some people, I mean, so much of this is so personalized. If you think about like what just like water kefir, right? So some
Yeah,
people like it a little sweet. Some
yeah,
people like it super dry.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like it going a little bit too far and then becoming a little bit alcoholic.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and it's like that's how it is for medicine. That's how it is for probiotics. That's how it is for food,
yeah.
and we're always calibrating to our actual needs, and so and to our environment. So I really believe in people's own inner knowing once they get connected to nature, and that trust in them, that trust in nature translates to them and gives them a kind of peace and a confidence and connection that they don't otherwise get in their lives. And so
Kind of background also. No,
yeah.
yeah, definitely. So that's why I like it, and I remember something that we started to produce some ferments, some fermented plant extracts. I think we were the first to offer them online in Germany to sell them. Nobody did it before. We were the first company. Now you have more companies like always, but it's not about that. It's now a lot of people they do it at home now. They know what a lactobacillus is. They didn't know it then before, They saw a ferment, whatever, this and that. But now they do it at home. They go deeper into this whole thing. So I mean, I don't earn money with that because they produce it at home. I'm absolutely fine with it.
What you need to do now is step it up. So you need to do tankerfuls of lactobacillus for the farmers.
That would be the next step. That would
That's
be.
happening in America right now. So I have people you know, uh, like David Olson, people like Ryan Noss.
Okay.
Uh, they're making tankerfuls of microbes,
Yeah.
and they're bringing it directly to the farmers, putting it in the pivots. So
That's a
that's your level up. And the thing is, what you should know is you can make some money there, because think about this: the farmer that takes their budget for NPK and throws it out the window
right.
because you moved it can pay you some of that money,
Sure.
and
That's
it's a lot. That's the crazy thing that people don't realize is these farmers are breaking their back. The prices keep going up on NPK.
no, yeah.
Pesticides, herbicides, they keep getting more and more expensive. It's crushing the farmers.
And they
They have
have
the same
more and more.
equipment they had 10 years ago. They have the same basic, well, the seeds are going up in price too. But the point is that it's like they literally are doing the same thing, and it's becoming less and less possible for them. And they know it.
Yeah.
Their kids are like, I'm not going to come back to the farm, Dad.
No, no,
You're losing your shirt. I'm not going to do it.
no,
But
no.
but with what's going to happen with regenerative soil, with this, we can cut in half the first season.
Yeah.
50% of the nitrogen
I know.
gone, and then we can remove the salt in one season. The salt layer, we can
Yeah.
remove these
Yeah.
things. We can remove these problems fast,
It goes
and
fast.
allows for people like you to provide things at scale, and allows for people like my students to consult and help people. So
Really.
I really high hopes for where we're headed right now, and I know that at the level where you're teaching people and it's small, you know what I mean, and they're now making their own. that means you've done the work at this level, and now the succession is stepping in, right? The next level of succession, you're going to step up as farmers.
Look, where I act live in outdoor is in Spain. Okay, I have a lot of clients and customers in Germany, but I'm here. I live in Spain, so I consult 6 places since several years. Now there are 7 actually. One is avocado, certified organic avocado. The other guy, he grows wine, grapes. The other guy is doing, what was it again? Papaya and stuff like that, okay? And mango, it's another guy. So we have those places where I'm working now like almost 5 years with them. I started when they started on clay, really. That there was no soil, it was dirt. Okay? The typical Spanish, like compared to California sometimes, this kind of soil, okay? A lot of clay and that's it. It's dry, it's dead, there's not much going on. It's just minerals, no biomass actually, yeah? And that's what I started. And you can grow grapes and stuff like that on it. They did it for a long time and they still do it. But this guy was one of the happiest people that I had as a client, because after 3 years, I met him and he said, "I'm so happy about it because the soil, it's a different soil. The grapes, the wine in the end tastes completely different. Yeah, there is no, it's a healthy plant, and now I earn even more money because I can sell the organic wine. Yeah, so which I charge a lot of more money for. So." Yeah. It makes it convinces people very fast actually when they see the first effect of their work, because everybody's very skeptic in the beginning, because I explain, I calculate this and that, and they say sounds too good to be true, yeah. And I said, okay, time will show, and it worked always, and it's still working, and everybody's convinced. But what you said with the lactobacillus, with the ferments. It's I really didn't came up to this idea to make it on big scale. So this is really interesting. That you triggered it somehow. Thanks for that. Maybe yeah. There's because look, why we had no chance to have the last live stream was because of the flood. Why did we have the flood in the first place? Because of this conventional type of agriculture we have in Spain, and no water systems, no wastewater system for the rain. When the rainy season comes, it just floods everything. But this time, a lot accumulated, and we have how much were 120,000 cars were destroyed. Imagine that. I'm not talking about the lives that were gone. Okay, I'm just talking about the cars, so you can imagine the power of the flood. The whole half of the airport was gone. Several districts were gone. It was really just a big wave. The highway was gone. Imagine that. I saw myself trucks flooding, swimming around like that. It was really crazy. So that's unbelievable. Why did it happen? Because we don't treat the soil and everything like we should, yeah? And what did they learn from it? They didn't learn anything. They still don't do some water, how we call it, some drainage, some this and that, to prevent stuff like that from happening again. What they do now is, and this is the only thing they do, they didn't before, out of this experience, now everybody in the time where the biggest possibility of flood comes, like this is now again, it didn't happen this year, luckily, it didn't rain enough. What they do, they send you an alert on your mobile phone, on your cell phone. This is all they do. The flood is, maybe there is a flood coming. This is what we receive as an alert. Okay, everybody receives it on the phone. It happened last week when the first rain started. It was ridiculous. It rained for 3 days and that was it. Nothing special. But
this is what
don't work on it.
And empires lose their legitimacy. They're unable to protect the people from basic natural.
There is no
China, every time the Yellow River shifts, millions of people die. It's because they build these dikes up on the sides of it, and so the dikes have to be constantly maintained.
Yeah.
What happens as because it's filled with silt, right? So it keeps layering with silt. So the river goes higher and higher and higher. And so you have to build these dikes up higher and higher on the sides. And so it ends up being this river on a giant platform.
Yeah.
And then the moment that breaks, everything's down for it. And so this giant river goes down, and it's 20 feet deep quite often when it does this. So I think it was, I don't know, 20 million people died last time it moved.
Okay.
And what happens every time it moves is they get a new government. And what we're seeing right now in the world, all over the world right now, is governments don't have the ability to provide, democratic elections. They don't have the ability to be incorruptible, and they don't have the ability to protect us from natural disasters, or even to respond when a natural disaster happens, to help people.
Not at all. I think
so they're losing their legitimacy.
It's in Spain, it's in Germany, it doesn't matter where it is. Afterwards, there are big discussions and plans and this and that, but nothing changes. Yeah, it's not really, we're not moving forward in this situation. So, because I think the conflict of interest is too big. Yeah, the information is not there, the understanding is not there. The Spanish, they don't understand that they were flooded because their land where they grow food, is it the whatever it is, yeah? Citrus, is it grape, whatever. They are all conventional. So when you see an organic farm, it really is, it's a bright place between all this whole stuff, yeah? So, and we have one of the biggest and most famous rice fields here in Valencia. I don't know if you knew, but they produce a lot of rice, okay? And this whole stuff, this is the last place where the flood stopped before the seaside. So, imagine now, I'm not talking about dead bodies, I'm not talking about dead animals, I'm talking about all the industry, all the gas stations, all the pesticides deposed, whatever went with the flood and was liquefied into the flood and landed on the land and poisoned it for several 10 decades. Even more.
We can pretty quick though. The thing is, these are sulfate ions.
Okay.
And if you look in the disaster relief parts of our government, so our government has like the Army Corps of Engineers.
Okay.
And after there's a nuclear bomb that goes off, right? They've got a plan for this.
Yeah.
We've had plans for over 50 years. This is what they apply to the soil and the water to clean it so that they can grow food in it and they can clean the water and drink it. This is so it's ion sulfates, and then EM. Like using EM, using ion sulfates, using biochar, we really can fix these things. But again, it's like it's the same thing with the West Coast of America. It's like we need to do keyline geometry, earthwork. We need to control the flow of water. We also need to control fire. So in Australia, this book, The Biggest Estate on Earth, it's right there, is a great book. It's about how the Aboriginals of Australia controlled fire for over 30,000 years by doing patchwork fire. So every hectare would burn, but every other hectare would burn every other year.
Correct.
So it's a checkerboard. Yeah. So what happens when you do this is your field, when you burn it, burns right up to the next field that burned last year. Correct. It stops burning. It doesn't burn the field that burned last year. And so this pattern of management is what needs to happen so that we don't have any more mega fires, so that we no longer have the ability for a fire that's an accident to spread. Yeah. And then we need to hold the water. We need to recharge the rivers. We need to recharge the aquifers all over the West Coast. The same thing is with Spain, except the problem's worse. We have all this 45% of the land of the West Coast is government. So we actually have the ability to fix this problem. You all, everyone's been on top of each other, fighting for pieces of land forever. And so everything's cheek and jowl. Everything's too tightly closed. Everyone owns something. And so if you're earthworks, you got to remove someone's house, or you got to take land. It's a tough situation and from that route. But that's what needs to happen. You need to create areas that will allow for the water to slow down and to absorb again. You need to have areas that are designed to reroute the water, to run it through orchards, but that's the thing, is we've gotten to this point where we don't have enough unity in our communities to get people to work together for these goals. And so I think that the first step for all of that is to educate, but also to help people like fix it. They
need to know.
To have people fixing the problem, like removing the toxins, you'll be able to start the conversation about how to prevent this from happening again. Yes. But people realize it's there, that the toxins are there, then they have to see them fixed, and then they'll be more open to like doing crazier things.
But they don't realize. There was no article in any newspaper, nowhere.
The newspapers are all owned by the same people, and probably not people that live in your country.
Yeah.
And so what needs to happen is we need to be the Pied Pipers. Yeah. We cannot. The thing is, okay, the crazy guy in the woods going, "Watch out, everybody!" like doesn't get anyone's attention really.
Not at all. Yeah.
The person that's like, "You must do this," doesn't get any traction either. It's the Pied Piper who's inviting people to a better view, a better vision of the world that inspires people to think outside of the story that they're currently in, because it has to be better than the story they're currently in. And this is why telling people the story you're currently in is a lie and it's so bad you have no idea doesn't work either, because they're like la 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 la. They're like, right, like they don't want to hear that. So it has to be a better story that they can live out and see themselves living out, to get them away from where they are locked in.
The human mind, yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. But no, that's the thing. That's like so much of my work with regenerative soil microscopy is trying to meet people where they're at, so that we can start this conversion process with people rather than like through people, or rather than at people. You know,
what's that?
People are, and touch their heart where they are, they'll jump, they'll leap, they'll climb, they'll transform, they'll fly, and it starts there. So I always try to meet people where they're at, like farmers. You know, I'm trying to help them transition, and I'm not condemning them for using NPK. I'm saying, let's fix that. You're wasting money. Let's make sure.
Oh yeah, you have
you being the hero.
Yeah,
I want you as the hero of this story. Let's go. And that resonates with them more than anything. They want their kids to see that they're doing the right thing and successful.
Yeah, you have to address the things that hurt, or they are important, or whatever. No, you're not. If you say, like you said before, it's all a lie and this and that. Who cares? You know. So, but if it's about your money, oh, that's interesting. Everybody wakes up then, no? For example. But yeah, this is very individual work that is necessary. I mean, like I said, I do it kind of on one side. I don't reach so many people. I try at least, yeah, through social media and this and that. I reach people, okay? But are they watching the videos? Are they understanding what I'm talking about? Most of them not. But still something is moving there, and some of them, they come back. Yeah, because I noticed this also, that like 2 years ago I saw a video from you, and now I'm really interested in the living soil thing. I said, wow, what did you before? Yeah, mineral nutrients. Perfect, come on, no? So this is already a change. So I mean, it has influence on people, and this is the most important for me to do, and it makes it is satisfaction. It is, for me, it's satisfaction, more worse than any money. Okay, I have house above my head, so this is the most important, and the rest is just living and seeing change. This is, for me, it's important because I'm fed up with this, seeing the whole monotone story. You know how people treat, starting with animals, with land, with farms, whatever, this and that. It's such a long time, and it's such a bright light when you see the change and really a green organic farm. When I come to my people there and I see this after seeing kilometers of conventional citrus fields or whatever, dried out, no cover crop, no nothing, just clay. It's fun for your eyes, your mind. We are made for it. Yeah, the fractals to see. I think it's important for our mind and brain in the end to see this green bush or jungle or whatever. It makes an impression, and it doesn't make an impression just out of coincidence. It is something good for you, for your mind. That's why it makes an impression. Yeah, there's no impression in seeing sand on dead soil or something like that. I mean, at least when you're at the beach, okay, but you know what I mean. So this is the big difference, and there is a reason for all of this, I think, and this is, yeah, to be honest, Matt, I think we could go on for hours, but Instagram is a really, it's a badass. They are maximum 120 or something like that, and you can't save the video and stuff like that. That's my experience. There are some things that go wrong. So
Okay.
would love it to continue one more time, one day when you have time, whatever, new topic, whatever. Maybe we have we have an update on the Sensei that I'm really interested in it. It's really crazy, a crazy tool in my opinion. Awesome. So let's keep up to date, and definitely let's try maybe in the summertime. My summertime now, it's winter here. What is it in Texas now?
Today it's 80 degrees.
Oh wow. So I'm jealous. We are. No, I think the guys in Germany, they have it even worse. But I can't complain. But it's winter time. But in summer, so I prefer to do my live streams in outdoor, you know, in my garden. So it's a different story for me, and I feel more relaxed. So that's why I love it. But now it's winter, so yeah, let's repeat it one day.
All right, sounds great. Thank you so much.
Awesome. We stay in touch, and really, thanks a lot for your time, and I appreciate it that we did it finally.
Yeah, absolutely. And if folks want to learn more about my work, go to regenerativesoilscience.com, and everything's there.
I will spread the info definitely after posting this, and that's the stuff that we have to keep up to.
All right. Have a great one.
Thank you so much. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Ciao.